Today, I'm going to be doing a deck tech on a deck that I'm calling Reality Seeker. It is built around the interactions of a new card coming to Pauper, Seeker of the Way. Now, I'm building it on the back of Reality Acid deck. So a lot of these cards, if you've been playing in the format, are going to look pretty similar, but I'm still going to go through the interactions. Starting off, cheapest creature, probably the best one-drop white creature in Pauper, Thraven Inspector. If you've been playing since Innistrad, you've seen this card. It is a 1-mana 1/2 that lets you investigate when it enters the battlefield. You investigate, you create a clue token, lets you sack it later, buy the card back. Effectively, it's a 3-mana Elvish Visionary, but you get to spend the 2 mana later when you don't have anything else to do. Just a great card. 4 of course, Skyfisher. When it enters the battlefield, you must return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. 4 of Seeker of the Way. It has prowess, so it gets a +1/+1 until end of turn whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Also, it gains lifelink until end of turn when you cast a non-creature spell. So, turn 3 comes around, you play a 2-drop artifact that draws you a card. All of a sudden you're attacking in with a 3/3 lifelinker. Great card if it lives. Pretty sweet. 4 of Dreamstalker. 1/5 for 2. Looks like a nightmare to me. Sadly only an illusion and not a horror. Not that it actually matters in Pauper. But it does the same trick as the Skyfisher, where enters the battlefield, you gotta return something to your hand. It's an extra cost. Usually that's a bad thing, but when you're picking up Inspector, a Pilgrim, an artifact or enchantment that says draw a card on it, you're getting your value. Finally, lastly, a 2 of Helioid's Pilgrim. This enters the battlefield. It lets you search for any aura card in your deck, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. Good card for tutoring out any enchantment you might need at the time. Say you need to draw a card, you can go get some of your enchantments. You can need to lock down a creature, you can go get Crystallization. Just a good card to have. Turns your enchantments into a toolbox. Let's move on to our Instants and Sorcery package. I'm running 8 Instants, main board, 2 of Momentary Blink to save my creatures from removal and to rebuy their enter the battlefield abilities. 2 of Vapor Snag to sometimes, again, save my creatures from removal, and usually it's to get something big and menacing out of the way. My opponent has to waste their entire next turn recasting it. And 4 of the most important card of the deck, Piracy Charm. Piracy Charm is a great card for 1 blue mana. Typically, I'm using the target creature gets -2/-1 until end of turn mode. Sometimes I get to use the target creature gains Island Walk till end of turn. Trigger Prowess, gain lifelink. Turn 3, targeting a Seeker of the Way with a Piracy Charm makes it a 5/2 lifelinker. You can do it instant speed after blocks are declared. Trading a 2-mana creature, eating a giant Delvefish can be entertaining. Moving on to artifacts and enchantments. I'm running 2 Journey of the Nowhere. Take care of big creatures pretty close to permanently. There are a few things that can hit it, but for the most part, game 1 that's not going to be interacted with much. 1 of Cartouche of Knowledge. Trying it out. It's 2 mana and says draw a card on it, so it goes in this deck. Targeting a Seeker on turn 3 can give you a 4/4 lifelinker attacking or a 3/3 flyer otherwise. 2 of Spreading Seas. 2 mana, draw a card, big theme of the deck. Triggers Prowess, pick it back up with the things. Also, it can make any land and island. Main deck Tron Hate because it just feels good. Turns on that mode of Piracy Charm where you can give Island Walk even if they're not playing blue. So many decks in Pauper right now cut lands, so you can take them off, sometimes take them off a color. If you can manage to hit one of the 2 mountains of blue-red Scred Fairies, they may never actually be able to cast the removal spells on you. 2 of Reality Acid, focal point of the deck, the backbone of what this deck was built on. This card, it's had a deck built around it for a long time for a good reason. It's just a nasty card. It can enchant any permanent, pick it back up with the 2-mana creatures I have in the deck. They have to sacrifice whatever permanent it's attached to, whether it's a land, a creature, an enchantment. I've used this card while testing in Modern to get out from underneath Solemnity Locks. 2 of Crystallization. I wanted to have a removal spell like Journey to Nowhere that was an aura that I could search up with the Pilgrim. And this has the added benefit of whenever that enchanted creature becomes target of a spell or ability to exile it. So they can't just Vapor Snag it back to their hand after the enchantments hit the body. Good card. Really useful. I mean, obviously it's a removal spell, but it has extra utility over just passivism, which they can cast Momentary Blink on their creature. The passivism would just go in the bin and they keep the creature. At least with Crystallization, they still end up exiling their creature. Alchemist Vial. If you've seen the Boros Monarch list, you know the Alchemist Vial, Prophetic Prism, replay, draw a card. This is in here instead of the normal, typical Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorms to just keep consistently re-triggering the prowess, re-triggering the lifelink. Makes the deck play more tempo. I like them a lot. I cut one. I was running 2 prisms. I ended up cutting 1 for the Cartouche Knowledge because the extra flying could be good. The Spreading Seas I count as a utility spell, but it also fills this void. So I have 3, 4, 8 cards that can draw me a card repetitively if I needed to. Let's take a look at the land package. 2 of Ash Barrens, 4 islands, and 4 plains. 4 of the blue-white bounce land, 1 lonely sandbar, and 1 secluded steppe. 2 Radiant Fountain, gain you a little life in the aggro matchups. Good thing to pick up if you're desperate to try to stabilize versus burn. 4 of Tranquil Cove. Tap land, gains you life. I mean, this whole cycle is just Pauper staples at this point. And the 2 of Mortuary Mire. Kind of stole the card draw engine from the Boros Monarch strategy, and running the 2 Mortuary Mires with the core Skyfishers to be able to pick up and just constantly spam them through a bunch of removal spells helps stabilize that deck and can help win them games they otherwise just wouldn't have any action. It can guarantee you're going to draw action next turn, so it helps. Moving on to the sideboard. I got some removal spells to bring in with Sunlance. Basically, it's the White Lightning Bolt, originally in Planar Chaos, if I'm not mistaken. One where they messed up all the color pie. The downside is non-white creatures, and a couple of the really high-end decks are running a lot of white creatures like Boros Monarch. So the Sunlances aren't as good main board, but they're great to bring in out of the side versus Stompy, versus Fairy Scred. 2 of Oblivion Reigns. Just nice to have the ability to hit anything you might need to. Remove it from the board. Take care of your opponent's Journey to Nowhere so you can get your creature back. Trigger another bounce effect. 2 Lone Missionaries. When you're playing against Burn and they can kill your Seeker before you even get a chance to give it lifelink, you don't gain any life. So the Lone Missionary can come in, gain you 4 life, and it's a creature they have to kill, well, they're probably going to kill it. Great to target with flicker effects. Great to pick back up and replay. It can do a lot of work in the aggro-y, burny matchups. 2 of Auramancers, because sometimes your enchantments just keep ending up in the bin. 1 of Sen's Enlistment. Good hedge when you know you're going to be playing a long, drawn-out game to just be able to retrace. I try to put at least 1 or 2 retrace cards in a deck just to make sure I got something to do with my lands once I get too many. This deck tends to want to be able to cast a Reality Acid and pick up a Reality Acid in the same turn. So I want to get to 5 or 6 mana. I'm running 22 in the base with the bounce lands and stuff. Sometimes I can get to that. I'll be at 7, 8 mana. It's like, alright, what do I need to do with these lands at a long game? That's where the enlistment comes in. Make some extra chumpers. 2 more Vapor Snag. 2 of Dispel to pretend that I'm trying to get through counter matchups better than I am. It's been working well in Modern. I don't know how well that'll transfer over. 2 of Relic of Progenitus to deal with graveyard hate. Well, that's the deck. This is one I didn't just want to sit back and wait until November 17th to start brewing around the new cards. And the Seeker just was the one that called to me the most and seemed to have the best fit in the archetypes that I could test in Modern. Hopefully you liked the deck. If you did, hit the like button down below. There'll be a link to the deck list so you can just download it, upload it to your MTGO account, pick up a couple cards if you need it, and go. You can follow me on Twitter at GeekLukeG. This is Couch Troll Brewing.